All right, so you ever play rock, paper, scissors? Think back to that moment right before you throw your hand out.
Yeah.
Are you just making a random choice, or are you trying to, like, psych out your opponent,
Right.
predicting their move?
It's funny how a simple game like that
Yeah.
can actually have a lot of strategy to it.
Right.
Most people don't realize they're tapping into the basics of game theory
Yeah.
without even knowing it.
That's what we're diving into today.
Yeah.
Game theory and how it's being used by artificial intelligence.
Interesting.
We've got research papers, articles, even some notes from your own deep dive requests.
Oh, cool.
All about how AI is learning to make decisions, to compete, and even outsmart us in some situations.
And what's really interesting is that game theory isn't just about games.
Right.
It's a way of understanding strategic decision-making in any situation, where the outcome depends on your choices and the choices of others.
Okay, so before we get to the AI part, let's break down game theory itself. From what I've been reading, it's kind of the science of strategy.
That's a great way to put it.
Right.
Imagine you're crossing a busy street.
Okay.
It's not just about your decision to walk.
Right.
It's also about anticipating what the drivers are going to do.
Right.
You're constantly evaluating their speed, their direction, trying to predict their next move.
So even something as everyday as crossing the street involves a mini game theory calculation.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then when you scale that up to things like business negotiations, military strategy, or even designing an online auction, that's where game theory really comes into play.
And what about AI? Where does it fit into all of this?
Well, think of it this way.
Yeah.
For AI to function in the real world, it often has to make decisions in environments where there are other players involved, whether those are humans or other AIs.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection.
Yeah.
So you're saying that AI is using game theory to try and predict the moves
That's right.
of the other players in its digital environment.
Precisely.
Okay.
Take a self-driving car, for example.
Okay.
It needs to navigate traffic, which means predicting what other cars, pedestrians, even cyclists are going to do.
Okay.
It's like a constant game of chess where everyone is moving at the same time.
This is blowing my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
So how does AI actually learn these strategies?
Right.
Does it just download a rulebook on game theory, or?
It's a bit more complex than that.
Okay.
AI learns through a process called reinforcement learning, which is kind of like training a pet.
Oh, like giving a dog a treat when it sits?
Yes, but on a much grander scale.
Okay.
In reinforcement learning, the AI is given a goal.
Right.
And it tries different actions to achieve that goal.
Okay.
If an action gets it closer to the goal, it gets a reward.
Right.
If it takes it further away, there's a penalty.
So it's learning by trial and error, but with digital rewards and penalties instead of treats and scoldings.
Exactly. And what's incredible is that through this process, AI can start to develop strategies that are not only effective, but sometimes even surpass human capabilities.
Okay, now that is really intriguing.
Yeah.
Are there any examples of this where AI has actually outperformed humans using game theory?
There's the famous case of AlphaZero, an AI developed by DeepMind. It learned to play games like chess and Go. Not by studying human grandmasters, but by playing millions of games against itself.
Hold on. It learned to play those super complex games by basically playing against itself.
That's right.
Wow.
And it ended up developing strategies that were so innovative, so different from anything humans had ever done before, that it completely dominated the best human players in the world.
So you're telling me this AI, by playing itself, came up with strategies that even grandmasters had never thought of?
Exactly.
Wow.
AlphaZero's strategies weren't just different.
Right.
They were fundamentally more effective. It's a prime example of how AI, through reinforcement learning and game theory, can push the boundaries of what we thought was strategically possible.
This is getting more and more fascinating.
I know, it's a really interesting topic.
Now I'm dying to know.
Yeah.
If AI can master these games, how is that knowledge being applied to real-world scenarios?
Well, one of the core concepts of game theory is the Nash equilibrium. And that's something that AI is using in a variety of ways.
Okay, so before we jump into those real-world applications, let's break down this Nash equilibrium thing.
Sure.
What exactly is it?
In the simplest terms, it's a state where every player in a game has found their best strategy and no one has an incentive to change their approach. assuming everyone else sticks to theirs.
So it's like finding that perfect balance where everyone is playing their best hand and no one can gain an advantage by switching things up?
Precisely.
Okay.
Think of it like a standoff in a Western movie.
Okay.
Everyone has their guns drawn, but no one makes a move because they know it could lead to a shootout.
Right.
That's a kind of Nash equilibrium.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
But how does this apply to, say, self-driving cars or online auctions?
Well, in the case of self-driving cars,
okay,
imagine a four-way intersection
okay,
without any traffic lights.
Okay.
Each car is a player in this scenario.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, right?
How could that possibly work?
That's where the Nash equilibrium comes in.
Okay.
If each car's AI can accurately predict the actions of the other cars,
right,
they can find a stable solution where everyone gets through the intersection safely and efficiently.
So it's like they're all communicating, even without speaking.
Right.
And finding that perfect balance where everyone wins.
That's the idea.
Okay.
And it's not just about cars.
Right.
Think about online auctions.
Okay.
The AI managing those auctions is trying to find the Nash equilibrium, where buyers are getting the best prices, sellers are maximizing their profits, and the platform itself is running smoothly.
This Nash equilibrium thing is popping up everywhere.
It's a fundamental concept.
But how does AI actually figure what the Nash equilibrium is in these complex situations?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Remember that reinforcement learning process we talked about earlier? That's how AI learns to find those optimal strategies.
Oh, it's like the AI is running through millions of simulations trying different approaches until it lands on the one where everyone's happy.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay.
We haven't even touched on how game theory and AI are being used in things like cybersecurity, video game design, even predicting financial markets.
Okay, I am officially hooked.
That's great.
We've laid some serious groundwork here.
Yeah.
I'm ready to dive deeper into these real-world applications and see just how far-reaching this combination of game theory and AI really is.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
There are some truly fascinating examples of how this technology is shaping the world around us, often in ways we don't even realize.
Okay, let's get into it. All right, so we've established that AI is using game theory in some pretty amazing ways.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, are there any real-world scenarios where we can actually see this happening right now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of the most prevalent examples is in the world of online advertising.
Okay.
Think about those ads you see on Google or social media. Those aren't just randomly placed. There's a whole bidding war happening behind the scenes.
Really?
And it's all driven by algorithms using game theory.
So you're saying that every time I do a Google search, there's like a digital auction going on with companies bidding for my attention?
That's exactly it.
Wow.
Each advertiser has a budget and a strategy for how they want to spend it.
Right.
They're trying to figure out how much to bid to get their ad in front of the right people at the right time.
Okay.
And all of this is happening in milliseconds thanks to AI and game theory.
It sounds like a high-stakes game of strategy, but with algorithms instead of human players.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is that the AI managing these auctions is constantly learning and adapting.
Oh, wow.
It's analyzing user behavior, click-through rates, conversion data, all in real time to optimize those bids and placements.
So the AI is essentially playing a game against itself, trying to find the best strategy for everyone involved. Kind of like that Nash equilibrium we talked about earlier.
You got it. And this constant optimization is what makes online advertising so effective.
Right.
It's why you tend to see ads that are relevant to your interests, even if it feels a bit creepy sometimes.
Okay, I'll admit I am both impressed and slightly unnerved by how sophisticated these algorithms have become.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
But what about other areas? Is this just an advertising thing?
Right.
Or is AI using game theory in other industries as well?
It's definitely not limited to advertising.
Okay.
Another great example is in cybersecurity.
Okay.
Imagine you're a security professional trying to protect a network from hackers.
Right.
You have to anticipate their moves, understand their tactics, and put up defenses accordingly.
It sounds like a never-ending game of cat and mouse.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's where AI comes in. By using game theory, AI can analyze patterns of cyber attacks, identify potential vulnerabilities, and even develop proactive strategies to thwart those attacks before they happen.
So it's like having an AI security guard that's constantly learning from past attacks.
Exactly.
And trying to predict what the hackers might do next.
That's right.
That's reassuring to know, especially with all the data breaches and cyber threats we hear about these days.
It's definitely becoming an essential tool in the fight against cybercrime.
But what about something a bit more tangible? How is game theory and AI being used in the physical world?
One area that's already making a big impact is transportation.
Okay.
Particularly with self-driving cars. We've already touched on how they use the Nash equilibrium to navigate intersections.
Right.
But that's just one aspect of their game theory prowess.
Okay, I'm all ears. What other game theory tricks do these self-driving cars have up their sleeves?
Well, think about things like merging onto a highway or navigating a roundabout.
Okay.
These are situations where multiple vehicles need to cooperate.
Right.
To avoid collisions and keep traffic flowing smoothly.
Right. It's all about finding that balance between asserting yourself and yielding to others.
Yeah.
It can be tricky even for experienced human drivers.
Exactly, and that's where AI excels.
Okay.
By using game theory, self-driving cars can analyze the speed and trajectory of other vehicles,
Okay.
predict their likely actions, and make decisions that are both safe and efficient.
So they're essentially communicating with each other not through words, but through their movements.
Right.
Constantly adjusting their strategies based on what the other cars are doing.
That's a great way to visualize it. It's like a silent dance, where each car is anticipating the steps of its partners, ensuring everyone moves in harmony.
It's amazing to think that AI can bring this level of coordination to something as chaotic as driving.
It's a testament to the power of game theory and AI working together.
And the benefits go beyond just smoother traffic flow.
Right.
By optimizing routes and minimizing braking and acceleration, these AI-powered cars can also improve fuel efficiency and reduce emissions.
Exactly. They have the potential to make transportation more sustainable as well.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm starting to become a believer in this whole self-driving car thing.
Yeah, they're definitely an exciting development.
But what about other areas of transportation? Is game theory being applied there as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Think about things like ride-sharing services or even managing traffic flow in a smart city.
Okay.
AI can analyze transportation data, predict demand, and optimize routes to ensure that people and goods are moving efficiently and sustainably.
It sounds like AI is becoming a master conductor, orchestrating the movement of people and vehicles across entire cities.
That's a great analogy.
And it's not just about transportation.
Right.
Game theory and AI are also being used to revolutionize the way we shop, learn, and even play.
Exactly. There's so many exciting applications.
Okay, I'm definitely intrigued. Let's dive into some of these other applications and see how game theory is shaping these different aspects of our lives.
Sounds good.
All right. We saw how AI is using game theory to manage online auctions, beef up cybersecurity, and even make self-driving cars a reality.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
What other parts of our lives are being impacted by this tech?
Well, think about how we shop online.
Okay.
Those recommendations you see, people who bought this also bought that.
Right.
They're not just random suggestions.
Yeah.
There's a lot of game theory at play there.
So it's not just about showing me things I might like.
Right.
It's also about predicting what will lead to more sales.
Exactly.
Okay.
The AI is analyzing your past purchases, your browsing history, even how long you hover over certain products.
Oh, wow.
It's trying to predict not only what you'll buy,
right,
but also what will entice you to add more items to your cart.
It's like the AI is playing a game against our impulse control.
Yeah, you could say that.
And I have to admit, it often wins.
Well, that's the goal from the retailer's perspective.
Right.
But it's not just about maximizing profits.
Okay.
Game theory is also being used to optimize logistics.
Okay.
Things like inventory management and delivery routes.
So the AI is figuring out the most efficient way to get products from the warehouse to my doorstep.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's analyzing data on past orders, predicting future demand, even factoring in things like weather and traffic patterns to ensure the products are in stock and delivered on time.
It sounds like this is making online shopping more seamless and efficient for both the businesses and the consumers.
That's the goal.
Okay, and it's not just limited to e-commerce. Game theory and AI are also making their way into the world of education.
That's right.
Really? I'm curious to hear how that works.
Yeah.
Is AI going to replace teachers?
Not exactly.
Okay.
It's more about personalizing the learning experience.
Okay.
Imagine an AI tutor that can adapt to your individual learning style.
Okay.
Identify your strengths and weaknesses, and provide customized lessons and feedback.
So it's like having a personal tutor that can tailor the learning experience to my specific needs.
That's the idea.
Wow.
This AI tutor can analyze your performance on quizzes,
Right.
track your progress over time, and even adjust the difficulty level to keep you engaged and challenged.
It sounds like a game changer for education.
Yeah, it has a lot of potential.
Especially for students who might struggle in a traditional classroom setting.
Exactly. And it can also free up teachers' time to focus on things like mentorship and creative projects.
Okay.
While the AI handles the more routine aspects of teaching.
Okay, we've covered shopping, security, transportation, even education.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
Is there any aspect of modern life where game theory and AI aren't making an impact?
Well, there's one area that's particularly fascinating.
Okay.
And that's the world of entertainment.
Okay.
Especially video games.
Oh, yeah, video games. I've always been curious about how AI is used to create those virtual worlds.
Right.
Is that where game theory comes in?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Think about those non-player characters or NPCs that you encounter in a game.
Right.
They're not just mindless bots anymore.
Okay.
They're often powered by AI that uses game theory to make decisions.
Right.
Interact with players, and create a more immersive and challenging experience.
So the AI is basically playing the game alongside us.
Right.
Trying to predict our moves, outsmart us.
Yeah.
And make the game more unpredictable.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
And it's not just about competition.
Okay.
AI can also be used to create NPCs that cooperate with players, provide assistance, or even tell stories that unfold dynamically based on the player's choices.
It sounds like AI is taking video games to a whole new level of sophistication and realism.
It definitely is.
Wow.
And it's not just about entertainment.
Huh?
These advancements in game AI are also pushing the boundaries of AI research in general.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
We've explored how game theory and AI are revolutionizing everything from online shopping to self-driving cars to the way we learn and play.
Yeah.
It's clear that this technology is already having a profound impact on our lives, and it's only going to become more influential in the years to come.
I couldn't agree more.
Well said. As we wrap up, I'd like to leave our listener with a final thought to ponder.
Okay.
If AI can be trained to make strategic decisions in games, simulations, and even real-world scenarios like we've discussed, what other possibilities does this open up? How might we leverage this technology to solve some of the more complex challenges facing humanity?
That's a great question. To ponder the potential is truly limitless.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the fascinating world of game theory and AI.
My pleasure.
Until next time.